raise your right hand. Do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Certainly. Brent, B-R-E-N-T, Moelleken, M-O-E-L-L-E-K-E-N, M-D-F-A-C-S.
Great. Thank you. You may take a seat. Please watch your step.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Thank you all for coming back. Good morning, Dr. Moelleken.
Good morning.
Were you the treating doctor for Emani Ellis, who's sitting to my right here today?
Yes.
And what did you treat her for?
She had a scar on her left cheek.
Understand. Okay, and what is your current occupation?
I'm a plastic and reconstructive surgeon.
Are you board certified?
Yes.
For how many years have you been a plastic and reconstructive surgeon?
Since 1995.
It's about 30 years?
Yes.
Okay. And early on in your, I'll strike that. Where did you go to undergraduate school?
To Purdue University for 2 years.
And where did you go to medical school?
At Yale Medical School.
And you did some work at Harvard as well?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so I finished undergraduate in 2 years, and then I took a position at Harvard University. It was a graduate position in literature, German and English literature. So that was for 1 year, and then I went off to medical school at Yale.
And you're also a clinical associate professor at UCLA?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Yes, so I've been, since 1995, I've been affiliated with UCLA. That means I'm a clinical professor there. So you teach the residents who are learning plastic surgery, and you teach the medical students at UCLA.
Okay. And we asked you to be here as an expert witness, correct?
Yes.
And a treating doctor?
Yes.
Okay. And in cases where you serve as a treating doctor, in cases that are litigated, you then can serve also as an expert witness?
Yes.
Okay. And what does an expert witness do exactly?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not 100% sure at the different designations. There's a treating doctor, an expert, a retained expert, a non-retained expert, so that's way above my pay grade.
Understood. Okay. In this case, were you forced to cancel patients so that you could appear here in court today?
Yes.
Okay. And you left your home at 7:30 a.m. to get here at 8:30?
A little earlier.
Okay. And you anticipate to be here at least till 11 a.m. or 12 noon?
Yes.
Okay. And did you cancel all of your patients for today?
Yes.
Okay. And in order to be here, how much money have you lost in income?
Well,
Irrelevant, thanks.
so I would estimate 20 to 30,000 in the procedures we would have performed, the patients we would have seen and scheduled.
And the reason you did that is because you want to help your patient, correct?
Yes.
And in order to be able to offset some of the loss, you're charging $2,000 an hour to be here as an expert witness?
That's correct.
And when you serve as an expert witness, do you tend to serve as an expert more for the plaintiff, more for the defense, or is there some percentage that you could tell us?
It's roughly 50-50. So I'm retained by defense firms and by plaintiff firms equally.
Okay. Is it your understanding that in this case, the defense chose not to designate an expert. Is that your understanding?
Objection calls for hearsay, lacks foundation.
Do you know of any other plastic surgeon that's rendered any opinion in this case besides
Objection lacks
yourself?
foundation.
Have you seen any medical reports or any type of documentation from a different plastic surgeon
No,
related to this case?
no.
When you serve as an expert witness, isn't it true that usually there's an opposing expert on the other side who would then argue with your opinion?
Objection lacks foundation, irrelevant. 372.
Much move on, counsel.
Did you review 85 pages of medical records of Emani Ellis prior to testifying today?
Yes.
And if you were to look at your exhibit book that's in front of you, the one on your right, if you can go to exhibit 1-004.
Yes.
At the bottom corner, it will say exhibit 1-001, and then 2, 3, and 4.
I think the exhibits are over here.
Can I approach around there? Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, so it's actually the same side. Ah, okay. I'm sorry about that.
Do you see a list of Emani Ellis' medical records and bills?
Yes.
And you reviewed all the records and bills?
Briefly, yes.
And for your treatment in your office, did you charge Miss Emani Ellis $6,500?
Yes.
Okay. And surgery center, $11,000?
Yes.
Why do you charge these amounts for the treatment that you gave for Emani Ellis?
Well, her procedures were performed in an operating room. So we have the operating room staff and sterility, and it's done in a JACO, meaning Joint Commission, approved surgery center.
Could you have done this outside of the surgery center?
You could have done it, but it wouldn't have been as sterile.
And you wouldn't follow that type of practice?
I don't do that sort of practice.
All right. And in your review of the medical records, did you also see that Emani Ellis treated with 2 psychologists?
Yes.
You reviewed all those records and bills?
Briefly, yes.
If we can just go to Exhibit 9, which is your CV. I just wanted to go over your CV a little bit. If I may. Your CV is 22 pages long, including your rate sheet. Is that correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would ask that Exhibit 9 be admitted into evidence.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
All right, so a minute.
This is the first page of your CV, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and this explains all of your, you have 2 different offices?
I do.
Why do you have 2 offices?
Well, just one in Beverly Hills and one in Santa Barbara. So,
Understood.
yeah.
Okay. And if you look through your CV, for example, on page 3, professional organizations, are there any that would be important for this case that you feel the jury should know about?
Well, I became board certified in general surgery and trauma surgery before doing my training in plastic surgery. So I then became board certified in plastic and reconstructive surgery. And I've done 2 additional fellowships, one in aesthetic surgery and one in microsurgery. So that's 10 years of residency after 4 years of medical school.
Okay. And on page 4, you have hospital affiliations. Can you tell us your affiliations with these 2 hospitals?
Yes, so I'm currently an attending at UCLA Medical Center, and previously I was an attending at Cedars-Sinai Hospital, but I gave up those privileges, and now I'm exclusively at UCLA.
Then on page 5, you have some other information, such as being a super doctor. What is a super doctor?
Well, a super doctor is 5% of the doctors in a community are chosen by their peers. So I've been a super doctor for 15 years, and on various committees with the Blue Ribbon Committee. So I'm proud of those awards.
Do you do any charity work?
I do.
Can you tell us a little bit about your charity work?
Application enrollment, 352.
Excuse me.
Is there anything else about your education that you would like to add?
Well, I'm in clinical practice, so I'm a practicing plastic and reconstructive surgeon, but I teach at UCLA. So I'm a clinical professor at UCLA. So that means just a teaching position.
Okay. You teach other medical residents?
Yes, medical residents, medical students, and usually plastic surgery residents. So they've completed their training and they're in their last few years of training. So those are the doctors that I spend most time with.
Okay. Now I want to go to this case and ask you some more information about this case. Do you remember seeing this patient, Emani Ellis, in your practice?
Yes.
Okay. And when she came to your office for medical treatment, did she provide a history to you?
Yes.
Did you use the history in your treatment and diagnosis of the patient?
Yes.
And what was the history that she gave you?
Well, she mentioned that she had been the left side of her face had been injured by fingernail scratches.
Okay.
So that was the basic salient history. And then I looked at her and looked at her wound, and so in order to determine what I need to do to help her out, I had to diagnose her problem. So I wanted to see if there was hypersensitivity in the wound. Hypersensitivity means, for example, if you have a splinter underneath your skin, it may not show much, but you can feel the splinter under your skin because it's hypersensitive. So I noticed that she had a focus of hypersensitivity on her face. Now when I examine for that, I touch many areas and see if the patient's pain symptoms are always the same. In other words, if they always come from the same area. So that's how I made my diagnosis of her scar, the visible aspects of it and the hypersensitivity aspects of it.
All right, if you can go to Exhibit 4, to the gray exhibit, I mean the one that you have in your hand,
Okay.
the white one.
All right. To what? What number? I'm sorry.
4.
Oh, 4.
In your medical evaluation of the patient, you saw her for the first time on November 4th, 2022?
Yes.
Were you advised by Emani Ellis or anyone else that Miss Ellis was seen by a different plastic surgeon before you?
Objection calls for hearsay, lacks foundation.
Assisting.
If you go to Exhibit 4-009, at the bottom, can you read for us what it says in handwriting?
Yes.
Objection, hearsay.
Assisting.
Okay. Are you aware that Miss Emani Ellis saw a Dr. Scher before you?
Objection, hearsay.
Assisting.
Is it important to you when treating a patient if they've seen any prior doctors?
Objection, irrelevant, lacks foundation, 352.
Over.
No, it's very important if they've done treatment. If they've done treatment, then I need to know what treatment they did.
Okay, so in order to do your work with this patient, Emani Ellis, you would need to know if any other doctor, such as a plastic surgeon, did any other work on Emani Ellis, correct?
Yes.
And when you asked Miss Emani Ellis if she got treatment, did she tell you she saw a different doctor, Dr. John Scher?
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
Do you know the Dr. Scher? Do you know him?
No.
Are you aware that Dr. Scher has passed away?
Objection, lacks foundation, calls for speculation.
Overruled.
That's what I've been told. I didn't verify it.
Hearsay, move to strike.
Denied.
For a patient such as Emani Ellis, the kind of injury that she sustained, is it true that if Emani Ellis had came to you within a couple months after the incident, that you would advise Emani Ellis to wait 1 to 2 years to determine if this cut would become a scar?
Lacks foundation.
Is that-
Oh, sorry.
Is that the proper course?
Object.
Sustained.
For a patient like Emani Ellis who sustained a cut, how long should she wait before getting plastic
So,
surgery?
counsel, why don't you establish that there are different treatments? What type of cut it was, how deep the cut was, whether it was likely to scar, what he knows about the scar. Establish some foundation before you ask him opinions.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Can you describe for us the scar that Emani Ellis had when you examined her on November 4th of 2022 for the first time?
Yes. She had vertically oriented, in other words, up and down scars. There were actually 2 of them, but one was more prominent, and it was hyperpigmented, and it was hypersensitive.
Okay. And isn't it true that it would take at least 1 year before the scar formed?
Objection, lacks foundation, calls for speculation.
Overruled.
No, scars can form quickly. Sometimes it takes a long time for them to form.
Do you believe it was correct for Emani Ellis to wait before obtaining the medical treatment that she received in your office?
Objection, lacks foundation, calls for speculation.
Sustained.
And the type of medical treatment that you performed, isn't it true that during the pandemic, which started in April of 2022, for at least several months and years, there was limited availability for patients to receive plastic surgery?
That's very true.
And your office was shut down for several months at least?
Well, I perform a lot of reconstructive surgery and emergency surgery, so my office was never shut down.
But if a patient needed to receive the type of treatment like Emani Ellis received, and they contacted you in May of 2020, during the pandemic, you would not be able to work on them, or you probably would tell them to wait, correct?
Objection, compound, calls for speculation, lacks foundation.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that a scar such as Emani Ellis's, when she came to you in 2022, the scar would basically never have gone away unless you performed some type of medical treatment, correct?
Objection, leading, calls for speculation, lacks foundation.
Sustained.
Can you tell us in your, on 4-001 in the HPI, can you read the four lines there, please, from your report?
In the which line, I'm sorry?
It's hearsay, counsel. Why don't you move on?
When you treated Miss Emani Ellis, did she tell you that she was assaulted and battered by Cardi B?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Yes.
Did she explain to you that Cardi B placed her long fingernails with sharp objects in her face?
That's what you told me, yes.
Did she state to you that her face was red and hot after the incident?
Yes.
And can you tell us, when you personally examined Emani Ellis, did you see 3 lines on her face on the left side of her cheek?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yes.
What is the significance of the 3 lines?
Well, it's typical for a fingernail injury when you have parallel lines going from the top to the bottom. So that's vertically oriented, so up and down rather than horizontally. So typically that's how fingernail injuries manifest.
Is it your expert opinion that Emani Ellis sustained an injury to her left cheek from fingernails?
Objection, leading.
Sustained.
I'm sorry?
It's sustained. It's sustained.
Oh.
All right, can you tell us, please, how many times you saw Emani Ellis for medical treatment?
I believe 3 total.
Can you just please go through the treatment that you gave her from the beginning to the end?
Yes. So there was an initial examination, and then I performed 2 procedures on her. So those were done in the operating room, and I did what's called medical microneedling, which is a procedure where you place local anesthesia underneath the skin to numb the skin, and then you do deep microneedling at a depth of approximately 2 millimeters. It does cause the patient to bleed, but the bleeding is very small because the needles are very small. So then we apply various creams to prevent infection, and then we see the patient back in approximately 4 to 6 weeks. So after that period of time, she returned. We had noticed some improvement in the hypersensitivity and some improvement in the hyperpigmentation. So I basically performed an identical procedure, also under local anesthesia. And after that, I believe I did not see her again. We may have Zoomed, but I can't recall exactly.
Do you believe that your patient benefited from the medical treatment she received from you?
Yes.
And you're familiar with the billing procedures and charges from your office and other medical providers, such as plastic surgeons and surgery centers and the like?
Yes.
Is it part of your practice to review the medical bills for your office and other types of medical providers?
Well, it's a part of my
I'm sorry. Good.
Objection, compound, and hearsay.
Okay.
As to the one part.
So it's my function as a medical director of a surgery center, which I've been for 25 years, to know the fees that are charged at the various institutions like UCLA or Cedar or in similar institutions in the community.
And when you examined Emani Ellis on November 4th of 2022, you performed an examination, you wrote a 4-page report, you reviewed medical records and medical bills, you spoke with the patient for how long approximately?
Well, we maybe spent 45 minutes total with her, but that includes the assistant going in asking the questions, and then she transcribes it to an iPad, and then I go in the room, I do the examination, I record the results of my examination, and then correct anything on the iPad that I want to add to.
And to write the report of 4 pages, review all the medical records, review all the documents, see the patient, everything, that one day on November 4th of 22, you charged $1,500, is that correct?
That's correct.
And if you were to make that same examination, go through all those steps today, you would actually be charging $2,500, correct?
Objection, leading.
Over.
You can answer.
That's correct.
The fee has gone up because of inflation and the cost of medical care?
Just,
Objection, leading.
Over.
You can
Yeah,
answer.
that's what it costs. So you have to.
All right.
charge
And the medical procedures that you did on February 20th of 23 and March 20th of 23, the 2 procedures, each one you charge $2,500, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And the same procedures today, what would you charge?
Well, it would be approximately 6,500. If you notice in my initial report, that's the amount I quoted, but for some reason it was billed at 2,500. So that was an error, but it is what it is.
So then, in fact, the $2,500 charge should have been $6,500
Correct.
twice.
That's what it costs to perform surgery, in a surgery center.
And approximately how long does it take from the time the patient comes into the office, gets prepared for surgery, and is sent home for each of the 2 surgical procedures you did?
Well, approximately 2 to 3 hours.
And the surgery center has to be booked for a certain period of time?
Yes.
And you got to prepare it, do the procedure, clean it, make sure it's good. How long does all that take? How much time do you book the surgery center for Miss Emani Ellis on those?
Well, the 2 to 3 hours would not include the technicians, the surgical tech preparing the equipment or the cleanup. That was just the 2 or 3 hours would be the time from the time the patient arrives, fills out their paperwork, the consents are given. We again talk about the risks and benefits of the procedure. We put on topical anesthesia. We let that work. We take them to the operating room. We put on, we induce local anesthesia with injections. We do the procedure. We watch her postoperatively to make sure she doesn't have any allergic reactions or trouble with her skin. And then we make sure she's dressed properly, has postoperative instructions, and then she's discharged.
And there's obviously different types of skin that you deal with in your practice, correct?
Yes.
There's lighter skin, darker skin, rough skin, soft skin. Can you just tell us a little bit of the difference in procedures that you would do to the different types of skin?
Yes, so there's a grading scheme from 1 to 5, and 1 would be a patient with very delicate skin, for example, a redhead, who might have very delicate skin and would not tan at all, it would just burn. So that would be Fitzpatrick 1. And then Fitzpatrick 3 might be Asian patients, Hispanic patients, patients of mixed race, and then up to Fitzpatrick 5, which would be black skin. So depending on the coloration of the skin, that determines what lasers you can use, what procedures you can use in a safe manner.
Okay, and what, on that scale, what is Emani Ellis?
5.
5, okay. Is there a difference, for example, if you take photographs of a patient with 5 on the Fitzpatrick scale, if you take photographs of their skin versus someone with a 1?
Yes, in general, in black patients, the lesions are less visible just because of the coloration.
And when you examined Emani Ellis for the first time on November 4th of 22, did you, with your own eyes and your equipment, you saw the scars, correct?
Yes.
And how many scars did you see?
Well, I saw one main one. That's the one I recorded. But I saw other things that were, differences in the skin, differences in the pores, an adjacent scrape mark. I saw those things as well. But the main thing was that there was one main scar. That was the hypersensitive one.
Is it your expert opinion that Emani Ellis sustained injuries to her left cheek from fingernails?
It's actually last foundation called speculation.
What is your opinion as to where Emani Ellis obtained the scar on her left cheek?
Well, the most likely...
What was the size of the scar? Did you measure it?
Yes. It was approximately 2 centimeters that I noted. That was the main scar.
Can you tell us approximately how long is 2 centimeters in inches?
Yes, so an inch is 2.5 centimeters, so it's a little less than an inch.
2 centimeters is approximately 1 inch, or a little less?
2.5
2.5 centimeters is 1 inch.
is about an inch, yeah.
Why was it? Why was hypersensitivity important in this case?
Well, hypersensitivity is a very unpleasant sensation, and it's often associated with scars. So my job is not just to make the scar look better, but it is to reduce the hypersensitivity. That's in some respects the most important thing, is to reduce the hypersensitivity in the scar.
And when you examined the scar earlier, you testified that you were of the opinion that the scar came about from from fingernail. Is that correct?
Objection leading, and this characterizes objection.
Assistant.
What is your expert opinion as to where the scar came from on Emani Ellis' left cheek?
Well, based on the direction of the scars, based on the fact that there were 2 to 3 scars that were parallel, and they were vertically oriented, in other words, up to down, based on the fact that the central scar was the deepest, based on the fact that the central scar started the highest. This is a pattern that is most closely associated with fingernails, because the middle finger is longer than the index finger and the ring finger. So when the fingers are drawn down, the middle finger causes the deepest scrape, and the other scars cause a lesser deep scar. And they also begin later than the middle finger, because the middle finger being longest, it grips the skin first, so it's the highest. The central scar is the highest. And the fact that they're parallel is highly suggestive of a fingernail injury.
Is that to a degree of medical certainty?
Yes.
And what does it mean for the jury, if you could explain, what does medical certainty mean when an expert makes that type of...
51% or more. It's the most likely explanation. There are other explanations, but this is the most likely explanation.
And in order to formulate your opinion, you reviewed medical records, correct?
Well, I did, but that wasn't as important as the physical.
No, of course. I was going to go through a laundry list of what we did, but why don't you just tell me, what did you do to formulate your expert opinion?
The number one thing I did was examine the patient. That's the number one thing. So I noticed where the scar was. I noticed what symptoms she was having. And that alone, sure, the medical records are helpful. You always review them just in case there's something that might be important if you're doing surgery on somebody later. But the physical exam is the most important thing. That tells you what you need to do with the patient.
In how many cases over the last 30 years, and how many patients have you treated for assault and battery type of incident?
Many hundreds.
And is there an emotional component that goes along with this type of injury?
Objection, outside the scope of his designation, Black's Foundation, culture speculation.
Assistant.
In your medical report under social history, you state post-traumatic stress, anxiety, depression, headaches. Is there any reason why you wrote that?
Well, that's information that the patient gave us. It's not a diagnosis I made, it's the information that the patient gave us.
And future prognosis, it says I would anticipate a 50% improvement in the scar. Was that, did the treatment you provide produce a 50% or more improvement?
I believe it did.
Was your patient happy with the medical treatment that she received?
Objection, culture speculation, Black's Foundation.
You can answer.
Oh, I can answer. Well, she expressed satisfaction with her procedure to me. I'd been very upfront with her that her likely outcome was that the scar would be better, but not gone.
And I just want to ask you a few more questions about the medical bills. Your medical evaluation charge of $1,500 on November 4th of 2022. You reviewed that bill, correct?
Yes.
Do you believe that the medical treatments on November 4th of 2022 in your office were reasonable and medically necessary?
Yes.
Do you believe that the medical treatments in your office on November 4th of 2022 were related to this incident of February 24th of 2018?
Objection calls for speculation, lacks foundation, outside the scope of this designation.
Now, aside from your $1,500 charge and your $2,500 charge times 2 for a total of $5,000, there was also a surgery center charge from Neo Surgery Center, is that correct?
Yes.
And you reviewed those bills from Neo Surgery Center?
Yes.
Okay. And you told us a little bit about your background. Are the charges of $5,500 for each time you treated Emani Ellis in the surgery center, are those reasonable
Yes.
and medically necessary?
Yes.
Is that to a degree of medical certainty?
Yes.
And are the treatments at Neo Surgery Center related to this incident of 2/24/18?
Yes. I
Objection,
believe so.
again, outside the scope of this designation. Thank you.
Okay. And just so there's clarity on the other 3 bills, the $1,500 one and the $5,000 for 2 procedures, you testified that those were reasonable and medically necessary, correct?
Yes.
Is that to a degree of medical certainty?
Yes.
Do you believe Miss Emani Ellis could benefit from any future type of plastic surgery?
Objection calls for speculation, argument as well.
Do you have an opinion as to whether Miss Emani Ellis needs any future medical care in your office?
Same objection, lacks foundation.
Why don't you establish foundation, counsel?
In reviewing all the records and bills from the past that you've seen, and diagnosing the patient and seeing the patient, do you have any opinion as to whether Miss Emani Ellis needs future medical care?
Objection, lacks foundation, calls for speculation.
Do you plan to provide Miss Emani Ellis any future medical treatment?
Objection, speculation, lacks foundation.
Open. You can answer.
Oh. Not currently, but I'd be happy to do it if she asked me to.
And what would you be happy to do if she asked you?
Probably more medical micro.
I'll sustain the objection and please describe what the response was.
Can you tell us a little bit about what future medical care you would want to provide to this patient?
Objection, lacks foundation.
Counsel, establish foundation that there's any basis for him to form an opinion that she needs any future care.
Is there any basis for you to form an opinion that you need future medical care?
Objection, lacks foundation, calls for speculation.
Overruled.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that, please?
She still has scarring.
And what could she get? What could she benefit from?
She could.
Objection, calls for speculation, lacks foundation.
Overruled.
She could benefit from some more medical microneedling.
How many more treatments?
Objection, calls for speculation, lacks foundation.
Sustain.
if she received one more procedure, what would the cost be for the entire process, which would include your charges and the surgery center charges?
Objection, Wax Foundation.
Well, it would be approximately $6,500 for the professional fee and then $9,500 for the surgery center fee.
So does that mean that the surgery center cost has also gone up recently?
Yes,
So is that approximately $15,000?
approximately.
Then how much better do you believe the scar would be if she received that treatment you just told us about?
Objection, Wax Foundation. Motion respectfully.
Assisting.
Do you have an opinion as to what benefit the treatment would give Miss Emani Ellis if she had one more microneedling procedure in your office?
Objection, Wax Foundation.
Overruled.
I would estimate she would have an additional 15 to 20% improvement.
Is there any way to get to as close as you can to 100%?
Objection calls for speculation. Wax Foundation.
Assisting.
Do you have an opinion of how Miss Emani Ellis can make her scar better than just 15 to 20%?
Well, she will never,
Assisting. Again, please establish the foundation. This witness knows the answer.
Do you have an opinion as to what type of, well, strike that. Do you have an opinion as to the percentage of improvement that Miss Emani Ellis can have if she has more than just one procedure in your office?
Objection, Wax Foundation.
Overruled.
I can't say. It would take another treatment to determine that. If she had no further benefit, then that would be the end of the treatment. If she had further benefit, then that would justify more treatment.
And then I want to ask you a little bit more about medical treatment on a lien basis. Can you tell us what percentage of your practice do you treat patients on a lien basis?
A very small percentage.
Is it less than 10%?
Probably, yes. I don't know the exact number, but probably, yes.
Most of your patients pay out of pocket themselves out of their, they pay cash or credit card, correct?
Objection, Levy.
Overruled.
Yes, they pay, cash, or I have charities, so they pay nothing.
When you treat a patient on a lien basis, does that mean, I'll strike that. When a patient treats on a lien basis, isn't it true that the lien is created simply for your added protection?
Objection, Levy.
Assisting.
Does Miss Emani Ellis owe you in your medical practice $17,500?
Yes,
And no matter what the outcome is of this case, she still owes you that money.
Objection, Levy.
Overruled.
that's correct.
And you've agreed to wait until this case is resolved before pursuing your medical bill?
Objection, Levy.
Overruled.
Yes,
Is that common practice when you treat patients on a lien basis?
yes,
And medical, isn't it true that all types of different medical providers treat patients on a lien basis?
Objection, Levy. Wax Foundation.
Assisting.
Have you seen other types of medical doctors treat patients on a lien basis?
yes,
And you've seen surgery centers do that?
yes,
Pain management doctors?
yes,
Chiropractors?
yes.
Dentists?
I've seen all types of doctors perform surgeries on a lien, yes.
If you can go to exhibit number 5, please, in your book. Are you there now?
I am, yes.
Do you see a report from a Dr. Norman for treatment on July 23 of 25?
Yes,
Did you review this report and bill?
I did.
Is this the most recent medical visit that Emani Ellis received to your knowledge?
I'm sorry?
Is this treatment at Dr. Norman's office the most recent medical treatment that you're aware of?
Objection, Your Honor. This is an excluded
So,
It
document.
has not been excluded.
And
the
lacks foundation.
So you're asking him if he knows whether she saw another doctor after this visit?
In reviewing,
How would he know that?
in reviewing the medical records and bills, the 85 pages, I want to establish that this is the last medical visit that the plaintiff has received
How does he know that?
by reviewing the medical records, Your Honor.
That's sustained.
Isn't it true that after July of 23 of 25, there are no further medical records that you've reviewed?
I don't know.
Did you take photographs of the patient when she first came in on November 4th of 22?
Well, I don't take the photographs, but my staff does.
In reviewing your medical records and bills and reports, did you confirm that Ms. Emani Ellis had photographs taken in your office when she came in on November 4th of 22?
Yes.
And each time she came back, for example, on February 20th of 23 and March 20th of 23, you also took photographs, correct?
Yes.
And because she's a grade 5 as far as the coloration of her skin, the photographs don't do much justice, meaning they don't really show much, correct?
Objection leading, lacks foundation.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that when you saw Emani Ellis on those 3 occasions, you could see the scar a lot better than in photographs?
Objection leading.
Actually, if in a detailed photograph, you see it very well. So I remember during the deposition, the defense attorney showed me a very detailed picture, and you could see everything.
If you can go to Exhibit 6 in your exhibit book.
Okay.
There's a total of 12 photographs, correct?
Yes.
These are the photographs that you took in your medical office?
Well, these are so low-resolution copies of the photographs. Yes.
And it's hard to see the scar in these photographs, correct?
Well, you could still see it, but you don't see detail.
Is it common practice to take photographs of your patients when they come in before they do procedures?
Yes.
Why is that important?
Well, to document what their current status is, and also to document any improvement. And because memory is fallible, so if you have a photograph, I don't always operate on patients right away. Sometimes it's months later, and then I like to have an accurate photograph.
Your Honor, if I may show the doctor some of these photographs in Exhibit 6 on the Elmo.
Well, I don't know that there's any foundation that those are the photographs that you took.
I can ask you, Your Honor, if you like. Will counsel stipulate to the photographs?
Which one?
Why don't we not propose stipulations in front of the jury?
Sorry. Can you look at the blue exhibit book in front of you?
This is defendant's exhibit.
Yeah. Defendant Exhibit 228.
Okay.
Request to publish, Your Honor.
I don't know that he's identified. Do you know what the document is?
If you look at this photograph, the color one, is this a better photograph of Emani Ellis' scar?
Yes.
And this is a photograph that was taken in your office on November 4th of 22 by your office staff, correct?
Yes.
And you maintain your photographs in your office as part of your business records?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm requesting to show the witness Exhibit 228 on the Elmo so he can confirm details about this photograph, Your
Any
Honor.
objection?
No, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
I'm going to use a pen, and if you can tell me where on her face you see the scar.
Counsel, there's a pointer there. If you would just want him to get down and give you the
Sure.
pointer on the screen.
There's a pointer there behind you, and if you could just show us where the scar is located.
Let's see. So this is a terrible picture. It's sort of like, oh, there you go, that's better. No, it's not good. Okay, there's the main scar here. And this entire area here shows differences in the skin, sort of a general area that's very different from the rest of the skin. And there's a little linear mark here, and there's another one over here. So those are the three marks that I was talking about. This is the main scar down the center, and this is another mark to the side. Here's another mark on this side. So those are the scars, and this is the whole area that's affected. So it has a little bit different, the pores are of different size, and they're a little washed out and a little, they've lost some of the normal undulations of skin, which are called reed pegs. But that happens often with scar.
Okay. And if we look at this this photograph, can you tell that in the photograph Emani Ellis was wearing some makeup?
It appears she is, yes. She has lipstick, and then it appears she's wearing something.
Thank you. And if on the Fitzpatrick scale she was a 1, would the scar be much more visible than it is in this photograph?
Objection calls for speculation, lacks foundation.
Did, in your medical opinion, did this type of injury cause Ms. Ellis to suffer pain or discomfort?
Objection, lacks foundation, lacks designation.
Did Ms. Emani Ellis advise you in your examination of the patient that she suffered pain from this injury?
Objection, hearsay.
Yes.
And if you could just tell us again a little bit about the hypersensitivity, is that associated with any pain?
Yes, it's a dysesthesia, meaning an abnormal sensation that's unpleasant. A dysesthesia.
The procedure that you did it take the hypersensitivity away, to your knowledge?
It reduced it. It did not take it away.
Do you know approximately by what percentage?
Objection, lacks foundation, calls for speculation. Hearsay.
When you say reduced it, is that's your expert opinion, correct?
Objection, leading, lacks foundation, calls for speculation, and it's hearsay.
And then I just want to ask you a little bit more about whether the type of injury from fingernails would cause a break in the skin or cause there to be blood. Do you have an opinion about that?
Objection. Lacks foundation, calls for speculation.
Assisting.
Would you have expected Emani Ellis, in the type of injury that you see here, to have suffered any blood loss?
Objection, calls for speculation, lacks foundation.
Assisting.
And patients in Fitzpatrick 5, do they have more of a tendency to do their scars become keloids?
Objection, lacks foundation.
Why don't you start with foundation?
Do you have experience with keloids?
Yes.
What is a keloid?
The keloid is an overgrowth of scar tissue from the original scar.
Do patients in Fitzpatrick 5 have more tendency to have their scars turn into keloids?
Yes.
And why is that?
We don't know.
Do you believe that Emani Ellis' scar was a keloid when you examined her on November 4th?
Objection, lacks foundation.
Overruled.
No.
Are there any future appointments for Miss Emani Ellis to see you in the future?
I don't believe so.
Thank you. No further questions at this time.
All right, folks, why don't we take our morning break? Why don't we take a 15-minute break? We'll be back at 10:45. In the meantime, please do not discuss the case with anyone, including other jurors. Don't form any opinions or do any research. We'll see you at 10:45. and alternate, and it's time for the cross-examination of Dr. Moelleken. And sir, you're reminded you're still under oath?
Yes.
All right.
Did plaintiff come to you for evaluation or treatment in 2018?
No.
The first time you saw plaintiff was not until 4 years later in November 2022.
Your voice is very soft and very sorry.
No. The first time that you saw the plaintiff was not until 4 years later in November 2022. Is that correct?
Correct.
And the photo that we looked at, Trial Exhibit 228, that was taken in your office before any treatment. Is that correct?
Yes.
It was taken the first time that you saw Ms. Ellis.
Correct.
Could you please open the white binder to Exhibit 4? And looking at the first page.
Yes.
Thank you. This is your medical evaluation document, is that correct?
That's correct.
Everything on the first page of this document was reported to you or your staff by Ms. Ellis, is that correct?
Yes.
So, for example, you're not diagnosing Ms. Ellis with headaches or depression.
Correct.
Okay, and also according to this medical evaluation document, plaintiff told you or your staff that the scar was caused by another individual who placed their long fingernails with sharp objects in her face. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you ask Ms. Ellis about other possible causes of the scar?
No.
At the time of your evaluation, were you aware that Ms. Ellis had been in a car accident and hit her head in 2021?
I'm not sure if I knew then. I don't think I knew then.
At the time of your evaluation, did you know what Ms. Ellis was doing for a living after she was terminated from her job as a security guard?
No.
Do you recall answering my questions in your deposition in this case?
Yes.
You were under an oath to tell the truth in that deposition, is that correct?
Correct.
Do you recall testifying at your deposition that, based on your examination, the most plausible explanation for plaintiff's scar is that a right-handed person struck downward on plaintiff's left cheek with both the index finger and the middle finger?
Objection, Ms. Stacy, testimony is upon.
Overruled.
Yes, roughly. I still believe that to be true.
Sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
In your previous answer, you testified that that was roughly what your testimony was at your deposition. But that was your exact testimony, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have the transcript here. I can't remember exactly what I said.
Could we please look at the deposition transcript from page 76, line 9 to page 77, line 3?
Do I have that anywhere? Do you know?
It'll appear on the
Ah.
Any question?
Yeah, I don't have the transcript.
You haven't produced one. This one I don't have.
It was,
We tried to get it from their court reporter, but they didn't get it to us.
I haven't seen objections in the deposition, so go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor.
In this action, are you offering an opinion as to whether or not the scar that you diagnosed was caused by the defendant in this action?
Well, I can't say it was caused by any one person. If you ask me the most logical explanation, it looks like fingernails to me, striking in a downward direction. That's the most plausible example, or the most plausible explanation for the position of the start of the scars, or the higher position of the right scar. It would be by a right-handed person to the patient's left side of their face, which is the right side that we're observing. Starting at the top, they both start at the right level for one being an index finger, one being a middle finger. The middle finger one is a little deeper and wider, as it would be on a middle finger. And then the index finger continues on down further than the middle finger scratch. So that would be the most plausible explanation for me, given the appearance of the scars and the finding of the scars. That's my opinion.
The only treatment that you provided to Ms. Ellis was 2 sessions of microneedling, is that correct?
Yes.
And that was in 2023?
I'd have to check about the dates, but I believe so.
Microneedling involves the use of a device that looks a little bit like an oversized pen. Is that correct?
Well, pens don't look that way. It has a head on it that reciprocates. It has a motor in it, so it's not really like a pen.
It's something that you hold, cylindrically shaped.
Yeah, you hold it in your hand, yeah.
And during each of those microneedling sessions, you moved that device 5 times across the 2 centimeter area that you're describing as Ms. Ellis' scar. Is that correct?
Well, I also did areas to the periphery of that as well. So there was as I explained to you in the deposition, there was, and showed on the photograph, there's a larger area of changes of the skin, which I would characterize as scarring. So I did those areas as well. So it wasn't just on the main scar, it was also on the area to the periphery of that scar.
It was not, especially, the microneedling procedure was not done on the plaintiff's entire face, though, is that correct?
No.
I'm sorry, we had a double negative there.
Triple.
You said it. Triple negative.
Thank you, Your Honor. Let's see, I forgot how to phrase it.
Did you do it over?
Yeah, thank you. Did you use the microneedling device on the plaintiff's entire face?
No.
And the actual process of moving the microneedling device across the plaintiff's the scar took you no more than 2 or 3 minutes. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's probably a little more, but roughly that.
Neo Surgery Center is your business, is that correct?
That's correct.
You're the sole owner?
The sole owner, yes.
And looking back, this is White Binder Exhibit 1. Turn to page 1.
Which binder, blue or white?
White.
Ah, okay. And what are we looking at? I'm sorry.
This is page 1.
I'm sorry?
Page 1, Exhibit 1-001. Do you see that?
Oh, yes, I see that.
Did you create this document?
No.
Is it correct that the total amount of charges in this case between you and your Neosurgery Center is $17,500?
Yes.
And I believe you testified earlier that $1,500 of that amount was for your initial evaluation. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That leaves a combined total of $16,000 for the 2 microneedling sessions. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that's $8,000 per microneedling session?
Well, it was a surgery done in a surgery center with surgery staff, so it wasn't really a microneedling session. It was a surgery.
I'll move to strike as non-responsive.
Granted. Please disregard the past response.
Your fee was $8,000. Scratch that. The combined total was $8,000 per microneedling session. Is that correct?
Do you mean just for the microneedling or for the preparation of the patient and the post-operative care of the patient? I'm not sure. I just don't understand your question.
Are you required to be a board-certified plastic surgeon to perform microneedling?
What kind of microneedling?
Do you recall testifying at your deposition that a nurse practitioner or physician's assistant can perform medical microneedling, the type of procedure that you performed in this instance?
Under certain circumstances and under the supervision of a physician, they would be allowed to perform that. But however, they would not be allowed to perform a surgery independently. So I don't want to conflate the two.
You also testified at your deposition that there's no particular formula that you used to calculate this $16,000 fee. Is that correct?
Well, it's based on my experience as a medical director for 25 years of what the usual and customary fees are for these procedures. So it's not just randomly chosen.
And it's your testimony that the fee you charge is usual and customary in this community? Is that
Yes.
You also testified earlier that the plaintiff was charged for your services on a lien basis. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And by lien basis, do you agree that means that if the plaintiff wins this case and is awarded money, you have a right to collect your fees from the award?
Objection misstates the testimony of the witness.
Overruled.
Well, I don't believe that's what happens. I believe the patient owes the money for the services rendered, regardless of the outcome of the case. So it's not just if the patient wins, it's regardless of the outcome of the case.
Has Ms. Ellis paid you for your services today?
No.
Objection, asked and answered.
Overruled.
If Ms. Ellis had come to your office as a patient who didn't have a pending lawsuit and had the exact same procedure done and paid for it then, would you have charged less money than you charged in this case?
Well, there were many aspects of her presentation that would not be found in a typical cash-paying patient. For example, the hypersensitivity of her injury and the nature of her scarring. Those wouldn't be typically found in a cash-paying patient. So how can I equate the fees between someone who has injuries versus someone who comes in for cosmetic purposes?
You can't scratch that. Are you saying that there's no possible hypothetical in which the plaintiff could have come in and presented the same injury and not have been involved in a lawsuit and just paid you cash for your services?
Do you mean pay cash or pay cash 3 years later?
Paid cash.
On the spot?
Yeah.
Yes, they would probably have a discount of approximately 20%.
So in other words, you charge 20% more because this was on a lien basis.
Yes.
No further questions? Oh, sorry. No further questions.
All right, redirect.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Dr. Moelleken, you testified about the injury being caused by a right-hand person or left-handed person.
Objection, mischaracterizes the testimony.
Sustained.
Does it, well, strike. Could this injury have been caused by a left-handed person?
Objection, lacks
I withdraw the question. In this case, the defendant is a left-handed person. Does that mean that she cannot have caused this injury?
Objection, lacks foundation, calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Sorry.
Counsel asked you whether this injury was caused by a right-handed person. You remember the question he asked you?
Yes.
I think he was asking what his testimony was.
Did counsel ask you about your testimony in the deposition that you gave on March 27th of 25?
Yes.
And during that testimony, counsel asked you and showed you a small segment of your deposition where you said that this injury was caused by a right-handed person. Do you remember saying that in your deposition?
I said most likely.
The fact that the person is, well, strike that. For example, I'm left-handed. If I take my right hand and I scratch somebody, is that possible?
Objection, lacks foundation, outside the scope.
Sustained.
When you said right-handed person, did you mean that the injury, in your opinion, as an expert, was caused by the right hand?
Objection,
Overruled.
No.
What did you mean?
Well, if it's on the left side of the face, the most likely explanation is that it was done by the right hand of the perpetrator, for want of a better word.
And
Just based on the positioning of one person, assuming one person was in front of the other.
and if you look at the perpetrator there,
objection, Your Honor.
or I'm sorry, I withdraw that. If you look at the defendant, Cardi B sitting there, she has two hands, right?
Objection, Your Honor.
Take a look, doesn't she?
Objection, Your Honor. This-
Does the defendant have two hands?
You need to wait for the court to rule on the objection. The objection's overruled.
You can look. Please, Doctor.
Yes, she has two hands.
All right. Cardi B, I will represent you as left-handed. In your testimony at the deposition, if you were to take that the way that they want you to take that, it would be impossible for a Cardi B to have caused this injury. However, there's no question. The question is this: isn't it true that Cardi B, who is left-handed, could have used her right hand to scratch Emani Ellis on the date of the incident?
Objection, lacks foundation, outside the scope.
It's beyond the scope, counsel.
What's that, I'm sorry?
Is it objection sustained?
When you testified that it happened by a right-handed person, did you mean that the person
He didn't
actually
testify.
writes with their right
Counsel,
hand?
he said it was most likely caused by. That was his most likely explanation. He didn't say who caused it or how.
When you said most likely caused, did you mean it was caused by someone using their right hand, or the fact that they write with their right hand?
Objection, compound.
That's my question.
My apologies. Objection, compound, lacks foundation, outside the scope.
Overruled.
It doesn't matter. I mean, in my opinion, it doesn't matter. It's just the left side of the face was scratched.
With the right hand.
Typically, if people are facing each other, it would be the right hand. It's hard to reach across with the left hand unless the person was standing to the side, which may or may not have happened. I don't know.
And in this case, the defendant could have used both of her hands to scratch Emani Ellis if she wanted to. Isn't that true?
Objection.
Sustained. He's not a causation expert, I don't think, right?
No. This,
Okay, so stop talking about causation then.
okay, sorry. When counsel asked you about microneedling, the fact that it takes 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 1 minute, that is the actual time that you're working on the patient's face when you're doing that procedure, correct?
Objection. Jessica. Jones.
Well, not really.
Overruled.
Yes, not really at all, because you can't just walk up to somebody and stick a needle in their face. You have to prep them. You have to make sure you're working on the right side of the face. You have to make sure your equipment is there. You have to make sure that the person is calm, that they're numb, that they've been numbed by topical agent, then that they've been numbed by a needle with lidocaine in it, and the patient is comfortable. They're adequately protected against lumps and bumps on the exam room chair. So you can't just walk up to somebody and cut their face. You have to do all this preparation. That's part of the surgery. And as part of the surgery, after the surgery, to make sure they don't have an allergic reaction or they don't have, welts resulting or a burn injury that is incurred. All those are part of the surgery. It's not just walking up and cutting someone in the face. Yes, the actual pressing of the button might take 3 minutes, but without the proper preparation or the proper follow-up, it's not a surgery.
And in this case, when you saw the patient on the 2 times on February 20th, 23 and March 20th of 23, you performed surgery on this patient, correct?
Yes.
This was not a outpatient medical.
Sorry.
Was this an outpatient? Well, sorry, I withdraw that. This was an outpatient surgery, correct?
Objection, outside the scope.
Overruled.
So a surgery means that you're in an operating room with a certain level of accreditation, and you have a scrum technician, and you have a registered nurse, and you have a doctor. So those are necessary for the procedure to be performed as it is. And that's very different from doing a cosmetic microneedling where the depth is 1/2 of a millimeter, not 2 millimeters. So 1/2 of a millimeter doesn't break the skin. It doesn't draw blood. But when it's 2 millimeters, that's as deep as the microneedling goes. That goes through the dermis and causes blood. So that's very different than a cosmetic microneedling. It's totally different. And it's done in a different setting. So you can't confuse the two. They may be called microneedling, but they're very different. One is a surgery, one is an outpatient procedure done for cosmetic purposes.
And for the 2
If you can look at your exhibit book number 4, look in the white binder,
Yes.
4-005 or 4-006. That's a 2-page document which says operative note.
Yes.
And if we go to the one before it, I'll strike. When you wrote the operative note, is that the same type of operative note you would write for other types of surgeries, such as breast augmentation or nose surgeries?
Objection, irrelevant, outside the scope.
Assistant.
And back to the 3-minute question that you were asked earlier. From the 3 minutes, if we were to subtract the 3 minutes out of the whole procedure from the start to finish, how much time elapsed when Emani Ellis came to your office and left, if you understand the question?
Estimated at 2 to 3 hours.
2 to 3 hours?
Yes.
And you were required to use your operating room during those 2 to 3 hours?
Yes, the operating room or the recovery area.
And you used local anesthesia?
Use topical anesthesia first and then local anesthesia.
Okay. And the reason you charge 20% more for patients that are treated on a lien basis, is that because of the fact that you're required to wait for payment?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yes, 3 years. You have to wait 3 years.
Okay. And in this case, not only have you had to wait for 3 years, you also have to suffer the consequences of the fact that the bill was billed $4,000 less, according to your earlier testimony, times 2, correct?
Objection, leading lies foundation.
Assistant.
Earlier, you testified that your bills of $2,500 should have been billed at $6,500. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's my fault, but that's my...
And
that's my
if the procedure is going to be done again, or at this time, if the same procedure was done, it wouldn't be $6,500. It would be $9,500.
Objection, outside the scope.
Assistant.
And at this point, Ms. Emani Ellis owes you $17,500 for the 2 surgeries and the office visit that she had with you and all of the paperwork and reports that you've created related to this case.
I believe so, yes.
Thank you.
All right, recross.
Nothing here.
All right, any questions from the jury? You want to write those out? All right, I think these questions are fine to ask.
Judge, sorry, can I add one?
Sure.
Sorry about that.
No problem. All right, some of these overlap, and so I'll try and combine them. Did you see any evidence of a scratch on the nose?
No.
Can you tell whether the scar that you examined was caused by jewelry?
It could have been. The most likely explanation, given the trajectory, is fingernails, but it could have been jewelry.
All right, can you offer an opinion as to the approximate age on the scar on her left cheek?
It's impossible to know because after roughly a year, the scar is mature, so it really wouldn't change very much, so you can't tell the age of the scar.
You used the term medical necessity, or I think it was asked during a question. What is your definition of medical necessity?
If the patient is likely to derive a benefit from a procedure, then you could say there is medical necessity, if they're likely to derive a benefit from it.
Generally, can a scar form without breaking the skin?
Yes, a scar can form by scrapes or by breaking the skin, either one. But it definitely can occur in superficial scratches.
So the court's going to ask its own follow-up with regard to that. So can you describe how a scar can, or what the difference is between an abrasion and actually breaking the skin?
So the skin has basically the epidermis, which is the recycling layer, and then the dermis, which is the thick layer. Most of the blood supply is in the subdermal plexus, just below the dermis. That's where the main blood supply is. So the bleeding typically happens most when that dermis is completely breached. So a laceration that went all the way through the epidermis to the dermis and down to the subdermal plexus, that would cause a lot of bleeding. But for example, when we harvest skin graft, for example in a burn patient, we go through the dermis. So we take a thin piece of the dermis and it's a bloodless plane, meaning there's not a lot of bleeding when you go through the superficial dermis. But yet, we know that people who donate have a donor area for burns. That area can scar considerably, even though the dermis is never perforated. So yes, a minimal dermal injury may not bleed, but can produce scarring.
I think you identified a scratch and then some additional scratches on the cheek. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is it your opinion that all of the scratches came from fingernails?
Well, that's the most likely scenario given the patient's history. Could it have been a dwarf with sharp toes who jumped up? Possible, not likely. But it could have been most likely fingernails. But there are many other things that would leave 3 linear marks. But just given the patient's history, that's the most likely scenario.
And I'm going to just rephrase this question. Is it fair to say that when you agree to treat on a lien, you're deferring payment until the resolution of the pending litigation?
Yes. So we defer the patient paying the bill until the case has settled.
But it's fair to say that, at least according to the terms of the lien, that the patient is responsible regardless of the outcome of the litigation.
Yes, the patient is responsible for the bill.
All right, thank you. Plaintiff's counsel, do you have any follow-ups based on those questions?
Just one. One minute, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Do you have any evidence that this scar could be caused by a car accident? Any medical record, anything at all?
Objection.
A car accident.
Outside the scope of this designation. That's not.
I agree, but I'll allow the question.
I don't have any evidence, one way or the other.
Thank you.
All right, anything from the defense?
Well, I know, please. Don't take your oath.
All right, can this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, doctor.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Penn, if I have another witness to call.
I'm sorry.
Another witness?
Yes. Your Honor, plaintiff is calling Emani Ellis' mother as the next witness.
Does she have a name?
That's right. Ms. Schmidt, what's the first name? Leanne Schmidt.
All right.
Thank you.